Mr Chair, as Grant Robertson has already said, the Academy Council may from time to time, in accordance with the Academy bylaws, elect as a fellow any person who is in the opinion of the Academy Council has achieved distinction in the research or the advancement or science and or technology. So it was quite a surprise to all of us that Paul Quinn believed that he had a case to answer for becoming a fellow. I guess he was confused from his Form 2 science test, magnets and Rocky Shore, and that when he got 6 out of 10, the teacher said, "Well done, Paul," and I think that he might have thought that meant he had achieved some sort of distinction. As Grant Robertson has said, he has time before November to get his application in. I believe they do. They may still accept applications in crayon, but if he sharpens the point a bit and forms his letters properly, he may be in. It's interesting, old Paul there, Paul Quinn, and he's a good fellow, I have to admit, but that's probably more the case. He's a good fella, and I think he thought this was about fellas, not fellows. So if he doesn't actually get in, he might be able to form his own fellas society. And it's interesting, just looking through the list of previous fellows and talking about Paul Quinn, I immediately my eye went straight to the 2007 recipient, Professor Richard Fall, for his groundbreaking work in understanding the human brain. And I immediately thought of Paul Quinn there. And I think Paul, the difference between Richard Fall, who's done some amazing work on the regeneration of the human brain, studying the human brain, Paul Quinn thinks the study of the brain is rolling his eyes back in the back of his head there and having a look, but he suffers from claustrophobia. So when we go through the list of fellows here, there's some remarkable achievements by some remarkable people, and Richard Fall is one of those people. He, as I said, he's done some remarkable studies in the regeneration of the human brain, and it's that sort of high-level achievement that sets these people apart just from your ordinary, everyday scientists or researchers. And they've made some huge advancements for people, for humanity. And they need to be encouraged, they need to be recognised, and we need to celebrate the successes that they have, such as the people that Grant Robertson was talking about, Brian Robinson and his son with that gel that cures wounds, is it? Yeah. Absolutely amazing stuff, which is why we really do need to invest in research and development, is not just relying on the work of the Royal Society of New Zealand to develop these amazing, doing this amazing research and that, and developing these amazing products, but we also need to continue to invest in research and development in many areas, because these are the sorts of products that will really progress New Zealand. They say, and this was an economist who said it, that one entrepreneur, and I guess these people are very entrepreneurial, who can develop these products, one entrepreneur is worth 1,000 farmers. So if we have all these fellows who are generating all this outstanding research and making these advancements for New Zealand and for the world, in fact, that needs to be encouraged, and not just through the Royal Society of New Zealand, but also through investing in the research and development funds that I know that this current government has in fact cut. So, Mr. Chair, other fellows who have achieved remarkable things. And I just have to say I agree entirely that that there's not enough Māori, there's not enough Pacific Islanders. And there's certainly, as I scan down through the list between 2009 and 1991, there's no woman that I can see. And that to me is a crying shame, because we know the contribution that women make to the sciences, to the humanities, to technology, and they need to be recognised and encouraged as well. for the outstanding work that they do.
Mr Chair.
Melissa Lee.
That the question be now put.
Here in Lees Galloway.
Thank you very much, Mr Chair. I've been listening closely to the debate on Clause 9, which of course amends Section 10 of the original Act, and which refers to Fellows of the Royal Society of New Zealand. And I've been listening intently as people have referred to different groups within society who we feel are underrepresented in the Fellows of the Royal Society, and share my colleagues' hopes that those people might find that they become better represented with this expansion into the humanities. But I'd like to reflect on something that we can all celebrate. And that is the representation of people from Palmerston North in the list of Fellows of the Royal Society of New Zealand. Just doing a quick flick through the list on the Royal Society's website, I think I found 27 people from Palmerston North. Now, the population of Palmerston North is about 80,000 people. That's about 2% of New Zealand's population. And my rough maths, I came up with the number 7.5% of the Fellows of the Royal Society of New Zealand are from Palmerston North. We're punching well above our weight, and that is something to celebrate. It also, I think, reflects just how important research and development, science and technology is to Palmerston North, and it's something that I like to celebrate wherever I go, Mr Bridges. It's a very important part of the Palmerston North economy. And yeah, off the top of my head, I think of people like think of people like Dave Penny at the Alan Wilson Centre at Massey University. I think of Mason Jury. Actually, absolutely right. Mason Jury is someone who has achieved at a very high level and has become a fellow of the Royal Society. But also look at, and these names are just picked randomly. They're no more important or more significant than any of the other 27 names on the list. But Brent Clothier. Now, he's a soil scientist and environmental scientist. He is the leader of New Zealand's major soil science research program, the Sustainable Land Use Research Initiative. And his work is all about tracing the fate of water and chemicals in production systems and in the environment. Now, that's such important work when we think about the impact of agriculture on our waterways, and this is a huge issue in the Manawatu, with the Manawatu River, coming under a bit of fire for being one of the more polluted rivers in New Zealand, and the work that someone like Brent is doing to assist the agricultural sector in tracing those chemicals as they move through the environment and move through environmental systems is hugely important, not only to our environment but of course obviously to our economy as we try to ensure that we maintain our clean green brand internationally. Another person who we could focus on is Bryce Buddle, who is at the Hopkirk Centre, I believe. Now his work is focused on immunology, microbiology and applied science, covering a range of animal diseases. He's a very advanced understanding of livestock diseases, including mastitis in dairy cows, orf virus in sheep, pneumonia in sheep and goats, and yersiniosis, I think is the word, in deer. Now, of course, having a better understanding of all those diseases is, again, economically very, very important to New Zealand and to our agricultural sector. I could also talk about Dr. John Caradis and his work on clover. In fact, internationally he is known as Mr. White Clover. He really is right at the forefront of this research. But I suppose what this reflects is just how important, Mr. Chair, the work of these fellows and the importance of science, research and development is to our agricultural sector, and just how much agriculture has to gain from a much more concentrated focus on research and development and better government support for research and development. The work that those three gentlemen that I've highlighted, and I think you could highlight any number of people working in Palmerston North on research and development, which is so important to developing our agricultural products and also developing the way in which we undertake agriculture in this country to improve our environmental impact.
I'll call Sue Williams, CO.